Good morning, dear friends. I have a few verses that I would like to share with you today. These are verses that have just meant so much to me over the years. And as I walk through life, so many times I've come back to these three verses and I've thought about them and prayed over them and memorized them and just written them down. They've just been anchors for my faith as I walk through my years, and I just want to share them with you, and I hope they encourage you. The first one is in Hebrews 6. It says, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people and continue to help them. And I love that verse for so many reasons. God is not unjust. He will not forget your work. He will not forget every time you have loved someone, every time you have given someone a drink of water, every time you have listened to someone, every time you have just stopped what you're doing and stepped out of your agenda and served and loved and cared for someone else. And I love that. The second part of that is God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him. And I love that part. And the love you have shown him. God sees my actions and my thoughts and my words that are done in faith. He sees it as an expression of love to him. And I just love that he recognizes that and he understands that. Sometimes I tell my kids, sometimes they think about, is my faith real? Is it just my mom and dad's faith, or is it my faith? And I just help them to recognize everything you do today that is because that you wouldn't naturally do, that is not for your agenda, that is not to serve yourself, is done because you love the Lord and God is real in your life. And you can look at your life and you can look at the things you do and the things you don't do and recognize they are because of the Lord and because we love him. The second verse is in Galatians 6:10. And it says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And so many times in my life I have become weary and I have wanted to give up. And I've referred back to that verse, let us not become weary in doing good. And just that God is encouraging us, he's exhorting us, keep going, keep pressing on, keep believing that I am seeing all this. And it says, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest. And just that concept of sowing and reaping. Sowing is when you scatter, when you spread out, when you offer. And then reaping is what you bring in, is what you gain, it's what you receive. And God says that at the proper time, there will be times when we sow and times when we reap. And we will reap a harvest of good if we do not give up. Such an encouragement. So many times that has just helped me to continue on, steady on, knowing that my days are numbered, that I will stand before my Lord one day. Such an encouragement. And then my last verse is in 1 Corinthians 15. It says, therefore, my dear brothers, stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because that you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. What we are doing today, our days are going to be filled with people and things that we need to do, but our labor for the Lord, our heart for the Lord, our choices of faith, they are not in vain. And the scripture there in 1 Corinthians says, stand firm in that. Remember that. Hold on to that. Anchor your heart to that. And I just love those three verses. You know, one day I am fully aware I will be done with this life. I will have expressed my faith. I will be standing before God, and he will not forget every single time I have expressed faith because I love him. He will capture them all. He will remember them all. And I just love that God is a God that sees, and he's a God that cares, and he is a God that pulls us out of our narrow view and our troubles and our worries and our fears and things that we're so wrapped up in. And he says, remember all this. I will remember every single time that you have loved me and turned toward me and done something because of our relationship. So I hope those three verses encourage you. For many years, those have been just anchors, literally anchors that I have walked in, and I hope that you are encouraged in those things today, and you have a good day.